coming
Do you
up.
believe there's one God or many gods?
What would you say if I told you that black people enslaved white people first?
I would say I didn't know that.
That's my whole point. Remember
So
when
I'm
I
asking
said,
you, do you believe in many gods or one
Right.
God?
so I'm asking you, would it matter to you that black people enslaved white
You're
people
not answering
first?
the question, man.
But I'm asking you a question. It's a question. I'm going to answer it. It's a question that I wanted to ask you before we ran out of time.
But I'll answer that once you answer my question.
Okay, that's fair. I believe that there is one God.
One God. And so
Yes.
you asked me if you were to say white people enslaved black people first. Is that what you asked me?
Yes.
And you asked what would my response be?
Yes.
Amazing.
Let's do
Do
it.
you believe there's one God or many gods?
What would you say if I told you that black people enslaved white people first?
I would say I didn't know that.
That's my whole point. Remember
So
when
I'm
I
asking
said,
you, do you believe in many gods or one
Right.
God?
So I'm asking you, would it matter to you that black people enslaved white
You're
people
not
first?
answering the question, man.
But I'm asking you a question. It's a question. I'm going to answer it. It's a question that I wanted to ask you before we ran out of time.
But I'll answer that once you answer my question.
Okay, that's fair. I believe that there is one God.
One God. And so
Yes.
you asked me if you were to say white people enslaved black people first. Is that what you asked me?
Yes.
And you asked what would my response be?
Yes.
Amazing. I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to share something with you. One of the premises that a lot of white supremacy groups have is they fear that black people will enslave them. Okay. They that's literally documented as one of their grievances. It's one of the reasons why they've expressed that they want to keep black people from political power. Now, what I try to tell black people
That is not true.
well, hold on. It is true. It's
White people
absolutely
don't
true. I have the
fear that black
documentation.
people are going to
Hold on,
enslave them.
allow me to
White people
Jesse,
are being
Jesse, I was
enslaved because
speaking.
white people
Jesse,
are
I was
being
speaking.
enslaved by the blacks because they won't
Jesse,
defend themselves. Speak
I
up.
was articulating something. So what I was articulating is that when black people hear that, they become dismissive. And when I tell black people is don't dismiss that fear. Why? Because there is a documented history of black people enslaving white people in the distant past.
Where?
In ancient times.
In what world? Where?
On planet Earth in ancient Egypt. Okay?
So
On
in
planet Earth
Egypt, white
yes,
people were enslaved by blacks?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll look into
Yes.
that, but I got to
Okay.
keep moving.
No, not a problem. I just wanted to put that out there.
I want to ask, how is your faith different from the black Hebrew Israelites?
Okay. Well, the first thing is they have a faith. I don't necessarily have a faith. So that's first and foremost. I told you that I subscribe to historical knowledge and to natural observation. Science, if you will, you want to call it science, just history. I'm a student of history and of the historical record. And that's what informs my knowledge of the world. So the Hebrew Israelites do not. The Hebrew Israelites are what I call literary victims. They are victims of the literature that they have been exposed to. So they read literature that they don't understand. They are historically illiterate. And so because of that, they are invested in a narrative. They read the Torah. They don't know the actual history of the Torah, right? They read the Christian Old Testament. They don't know the actual history of the Christian Old Testament. And so when you're invested in a narrative in a book in which you don't know the history about, the only thing that you can be is a victim. So Hebrew Israelites are no less victims than Christians or Muslims. You're all literary victims. You're reading and believing and investing in literature that you don't understand. And
Do you believe that black people are the chosen people?
When they choose themselves, sure.
No, do you believe that they're the chosen people by God?
I believe that they were chosen by God to be the first expression of humanity, yes.
So you believe that they were the first on the earth and they're the chosen people?
Yes, I subscribe to the monogenetic origin of humanity, meaning that humanity has a monogenetic history, and that history began in Africa. and that mankind has 6 sequences. The first 3 sequences were born, lived, and died in Africa. They never developed a need or the ability to leave the African continent. The last 3
Amazing.
sequences did at the Homo erectus stage.
That's amazing. Are the
Yeah.
blacks the real Jews?
No.
Blacks are not the real Jews?
I would say some are, some are. There are some Middle Eastern types that are the original Jews. There are some Eurasians
Are
that are
you the
original
real
Jews.
Jew?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, good, man. I was about to say.
No, I don't
Goodbye,
subscribe to
Israel.
Judaism.
What?
I don't subscribe to Judaism. I don't subscribe to Judaism.
Black Hebrew Israelite believe that they will one day enslave the white man. Do you believe that?
I've already told you that black people enslaved white people in ancient Egypt.
Do you
So-
believe the Hebrew Israelite will one day enslave white people?
No, I don't think that they will, because they're already enslaved by the literature that they read. So how can an enslaved people enslave other people? That's silly.
Amazing. Are you a slut maker?
I try to my best ability not to be, and if I have been in the past, I apologize to anyone that I've ever done that to.
Right. And so are you a slut maker?
I just answered your question.
No, I mean like now.
Then I would have to say no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So do you love the Great White Hope?
no.
And why not?
One, because I don't subscribe to that term, and 2, it doesn't apply to anyone that I can think of.
Who is the Great White Hope?
There is no great white hope.
Oh, yeah, there's a Great White Hope.
Hope for what? Hope for what?
We are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving
I'm going to
it
tell
back
you
to
why
you,
he's not the great white
the
hope.
people.
I'm going to tell you why he's not the great
Welcome
white hope.
to the Great White Hope, but have you
Do
heard
know
of
why?
Donald
Do you want to know
Trump?
why he's not? Do you want to know why he's not the great white hope?
Why?
He's not the. I actually hung out in a nightclub once with Donald Trump. It was an interesting experience. Well, one, because he's from Queens, New York, and there's no such thing as a white person from Queens, New York being a great white hope. It's just not going to happen.
That's amazing.
I'm from New York, born and raised, so I know.
So did I ask you if you love white people?
Did you ask me that?
Yes.
I don't think you did.
Do you love white people?
There are white people that I love. Do I love them collectively as a whole? No, but there are white people that I do love, yeah.
How can you love one and not love all?
The same way I can love some black people and not love all black people.
That's
Or love
impossible.
some Asians. No,
If
that's
you-
impossible for you. Speak for yourself.
No,
I speak
if
for
you don't
Shaka
love
Abo.
one, you love none.
That's in your worldview, which I do not subscribe to.
No,
So
that
we
doesn't
can
make
move on.
sense, man.
It doesn't make sense to you. There's a whole lot of things that I would say that wouldn't make sense to you, like 1 + 1 = 2, but we're not going to talk about that.
Do you believe that God love all?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I can't speak for God, because that's
That's why I
like
asked, do you believe
that's
that
like
he love
that's like
all?
a drop of that's like a teardrop out of your eye trying to speak for the ocean. That's silly.
So that's why I asked, do you believe that God love all
Oh,
people?
do I believe that God loves all? I'm out to lunch on that one. I haven't determined that yet.
Okay. What is the state of Black Americans today?
To me, it's scary and hopeful at the same time.
Meaning what?
It's hopeful because I believe that if you don't believe in yourselves, without confidence, you've already lost the race. That's in any endeavor of life. And so I made the conscious choice to believe in us as a people. And that even includes you. I made the conscious choice to believe in us. Do you know how many people, when your show first contacted me 2 years ago and asked me to appear, do you know how many people asked me not to do it? They were like, no, Jesse's this, Jesse's that, Jesse's this. And at first I listened to them, because I already had my own idea about you prior to that. I've known about you since you were first really became high profile. And I initially had my ideas about you. Oh, he's a Sambo, blah, 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 blah. But I try to live my life in a certain way. And the way that I try to live my life is, don't judge anybody until you've actually spoken to them. Give them a chance. Give everybody a chance to prove you wrong. You know, so with Black people, it's scary and hopeful. I'm hopeful because I watch enough of us doing our very best to be responsible and be accountable. It's scary because I know that there are way too many of us who have chosen otherwise. And it's not just scary, but it's hurtful.
Black people have been begging and blaming and, and
Victim mentality.
pretending to be victims for a long time.
Yeah.
They wanted welfare checks, so we gave them that. They wanted affirmative action, we gave them that.
Well, let me ask you a
They
question.
wanted let me just finish because of time. Let me finish for
Okay,
time.
go ahead.
Because of reparation, they asked for reparation, we gave them that. They wanted to lower the SAT test in order to get in white universities, we were giving them that. They wanted to graduate without earning their way, but simply because they're black, we gave them that. Where would enough be enough for them?
When will enough be enough for us?
Right. When will y'all say, you know what, okay, white folks, we're satisfied.
I'll ask, since you're one of us, I'll ask you. You answer. What's your answer to the question?
No, give me your
You're one
answer
of us.
first, and then I'll respond if you want me to.
Okay, cool. When is enough enough? I would say that as long as anyone thinks that they can get something right in the world, if you think about human nature, whether it's blacks, Jews, right? Let's look at the Holocaust, Jews after World War II. Many people ask the same thing.
Give me
about
a short answer for this because we're definitely running out of time.
Okay, I get it.
Where
I
would
get it.
enough be enough for the black? The blacks would say, you know what, white folks, thank y'all. Y'all giving us everything we asked for.
Right.
We burned down your country. We did everything. You let us do everything. When would the blacks say, okay, that's enough. We had it.
I don't know because I can't speak for all black people. So I would just have to say I don't know.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah,
Do
I don't know.
Do you believe in separation of the races?
It all depends on what context.
Meaning that should black people and white people live apart from one another?
If they choose to, if they choose to, yes.
Do you believe in that?
Do I believe in that?
Yes.
If I believed in that, I wouldn't live where I live. I live in the middle of Manhattan. Everybody's around me.
So
I would live someplace where there was only black people.
So do you believe that?
Apparently, I don't know. I would have to explore I would have to explore the advantages of doing that.
Amazing.